from Morogoro. My name is MNADI. I'm presenting from the data. The subject is geography, topic, climatic condition, and natural region, which is found in Form 4 topic. In this topic, we should have subtopic, which is wet climate, types, and their characteristic. And regional climatic condition and their regions, we will describe major type of climate and their own characteristics. Here we could have several climatic regions, and these climatic regions have their own character. Each type of climatic region has its own characteristic. By starting with the meaning of climate. Climate, this is the average weather condition which is recorded over a long period of time, usually is about 30 years or above. It gives the integrated picture of the utmost condition of a large or long period of a season. And this climate is determined by two things, which is temperature and rainfall. Natural region, this is the place, or natural region, you can say this is the part of the Earth's surface which have a relative similar of climate, relative similar of vegetation, also relative similar of human activities. So it means in these all climatic regions, we should see all of these climatic condition, the location of its climate, vegetation covers, and the human activity. So all this we should discuss in each type of climatic region. Another, we can start with equatorial climate is the first one. Climate of equatorial, this is located where? Starting with the location of equatorial climate, it is found between 0 and 5 of north and south of the equator. It means we have this picture, this map. This is the equator, which is coming from this point up to this point. This line is 0 degrees, this one. And from 0 up to 5, north and south of the equator, it shows us this is the equatorial region. So this part shows us this is the equatorial region where we are talking about. Now, areas experiencing the equatorial region: Congo Basin, Amazon Basin, the East Indies, Western Coastal, and Nigeria, so forth. So these are the areas which are found in equatorial region. But in East Africa, we have Uganda and the Kagera region. These are found in East Africa. So these are the parts. This is Amazon Basin, this one, and this one is the Congo and the southeast. So these are the sample of the places which are crossed by the equatorial region. Characteristic of equatorial region. The characteristic number one is high temperature throughout the year. So if it is high temperature, it means the average, it means from 27 degrees. This is the average which is found in the equatorial region. Also, daily mean temperature is 26 degrees of centigrade. Another is the annual range of temperature is 2 degrees. When we are saying the annual range, it means the highest degree minus the lowest degree, you get 2 degrees. This is the annual range of temperature. Another characteristic is the area receive heavy rainfall throughout the year. And this the equatorial region, the maximum rainfall is about 2,000 millimeters per annum. So this is the annual range of rainfall. This is the picture or the diagram which shows how the amount of temperature, this is the degrees of temperature. Degrees of temperature from here, it means this is 25. And this one is 26, 27. Then this one represents degrees of temperature. While this part represents the amount of rainfall. So this climatograph presents how the amount of temperature and the amount of rainfall received in equatorial region. Natural vegetation. As we have seen in the first part that the region should have the same or similar climatic conditions, similar natural vegetation and similar human activities. So let us see in natural vegetation. What are the crops or what are the vegetation found in equatorial region? The belt is covered with thick forest called serve. So this forest or this area, while it's covered by thick forest, it means all the year it receives the amount of rainfall, heavy or high amount of rainfall. So in the presence of temperature, in the presence of moisture or rainfall, it means it influences the growth of thick forest. Another, the forests always are green throughout the year. So when the forest is receiving the amount of rainfall, have enough rainfall, it means all the year, those forests will have green in color. There is no any crops which are lose their leaves in that part. They are arranged in layers. When we are saying arranged in layers, it means this part, they are greenish in all the year. And they are arranged in layers. So this part, the first layer, the second layer, and the third layer. So these layers, most of these trees which you are seeing in this part, they are arranged in this layer. So where the tree can grow up to 50 meters in tall. So in this area, they are common of mahogany, ironwood, and ebony. So these trees, these forests, they grow much up to 50 meters. So when they grow in 50 meters, it means this part, these are 2 years. They reached in 38 meters. So up to when they are still growing, they can reach up to 50 meters. And this part, it means this is the second layer, go up to 29 meters, while this part up to 17 meters. So this area, once you see this part, it means this area, they are greenish in color, and then this part, it means this is the higher part, the level which have been reached. Another animal found in equatorial region. As you have seen that in the equatorial region, it has a plenty of forest. So in connection to that, when the forests are present, it means some of the animals can be found in that area. So these are the some of the animals which are found in that area. We have a monkey, gorilla, chimpanzee. All these are present in equatorial region. So this is the example of the animals which are found in equatorial region. These are the gorillas. And this one are chimpanzee. This is chimpanzee which are found also in equatorial region. Another, we can look on human activities. The human activities that are practiced in equatorial region are different. Why they are different? So many, a variety of human activity can be taking place in the equatorial region. So some of them we can say in agricultural activities. Agricultural activities, we can grow all crops which are in plantation, like a rubber plantation in Malaysia, Thailand, Liberia, Indonesia, cocoa plantation in West Africa, palm oil in Indonesia, Another human activity is fishing, which is taking place in Congo Basin, where the water is flowing throughout the year. So once it is flowing throughout the year, it means the water and the fish can be present in that area. Number 2, we can look on tropical grassland or savanna. This is the second climate. The location of this area is found between 5 and 20 degrees north and south of the equator. 5. So when we are saying looking in this area is passed by the equatorial climate or equator. This is the area line where the equator is passing through. So we can find the tropical grassland north and south of the equator from this area. Another characteristic is it is the transition. It is the transition between equatorial to desert. When we are saying it is a transition, it means where the demarcation of equatorial region is where this type of climate is starting. So it starts from 5 to 20, while the equatorial climate starts from 0 to 5. The area which are found in this region, we have some areas in East Africa, we have in Central Africa, it is found in West Africa, also it is found in the Brazilian Plateau, also Venezuela and North Australia. So this is the part shows this location of East Africa, this is Brazilian Plateau, this is Venezuela, this is East Africa, Central Africa, and West Africa. While this one is the northern Australia. So this is the location of where this tropical grassland is found. This is the key. The key shows that this color presents the tropical grassland climatic region, or you can say savanna. Characteristic of tropical grassland. Number 1, there is experience hot, wet summer and warm, dry winter. Another, during the summer, the mean annual monthly temperature is 30 degrees and during the winter is 20 degrees. It means during the summer the temperature is high and during the winter the temperature becomes low. That's why. The temperature is high just before one stage of the rainy season. It means when the rain is expected to start, it means the temperature also will go up, can be very high. This is the chromatograph which shows how this area is receiving the temperature and rainfall. This presents the rainfall and this one presents the temperature. This one is the chromatograph which is obtained from Serengeti. And the Serengeti is the part of the area which is receiving savanna climate condition, natural vegetation. The difference is amount of rainfall in this region a result of variation of vegetation. It means in this area we receive different amount of rainfall. So when we receive amount of rainfall, it means the area also, the vegetation could have into different levels in constant, which is different levels. It means some areas the forests are too tall, while the other area the forests are too short. So this is the factor. As we have said that in rainfall and temperature are the main determinant of climatic condition. Another there is tall grasses and the numerosity of trees. While we are saying tall grasses, we have said that in equatorial, in tropical grassland, it is a transition climate. Once we are saying it is a transition, it means where the equatorial climate ends is where the tropical grassland starts. So to the area where the tropical grassland starts, near the equatorial climate, it means the forest and the grasses are too tall. And on the other hand, it is poor and there is scattered thorns and bushes. Those areas which are found far from the equatorial climate, it means there is a scattering of trees, scattering of grasses, and a poor growth of bushes. So this area is nearby the desert climate. As you have seen that this is a transition, as you have said before. Another, it became green during the rain season and become yellow during the dry season. As we have seen in East Africa, some of the area receive this kind of climatic condition. It means during the rain season, all the trees and the bushes, also the grasses become very green. And when it is the rain end up, it means they start in become the yellow in color. It means they lose some amount of water through transpiration. The grasses have been named into different areas. So we have categorized this climatic condition into different areas in Brazilian, Venezuela, in Africa, West Africa, also in Australia. So the grasses which are found in these areas, they have named according to their own name. So by example, in Brazilian, it is called Campos. In Venezuela, it is known Llanos. While in Africa, these grasses are known as savanna. As it is its name, it is tropical grassland or savanna. The typical trees which are found in savanna grassland are baobab trees, miombo, palm trees. This is the example of the grasses. These are the grasses, tall grasses, which are found near the equatorial climate. And this one is the example of baobab tree, which is found in tropical grassland or savanna. So all this, it shows that this area is far from equatorial region. While this one, it shows that it is nearby from the equatorial region. Mind that we have said that tropical grassland is the transitional climatic condition from the equatorial to the desert. So even the grasses and the trees are quite different. Those which are found far from the equator, they have lack of we have shortage of grasses, while those which are found in the near to the equator, they have a long grasses. So this one, it is found far from the equator, which has in dry area. Animal found in equatorial in tropical grassland. This is tropical grassland, but no, it's not equatorial. Human activities. In tropical grassland, the human activities includes livestock keeping, fishing, cultivation, and tourism. Tourism is easily conducted in this climatic condition because all the grasses which are found in this area, they are very short. And these short grasses, are very conducive for the animal to stay. It acts as the home of the animals. This is the part of the Serengeti National Park where these animals are found. And then we have a short grasses. And this short grass helps the animals to grow or to stay in. And this part also, yes, this is the end of our lesson, where we have seen different locations of equatorial climate and the tropical grassland. We have seen the characteristic of all these type of climatic condition. Also, we have seen some of the human activities taking place in all this region. Thank you for listening. But adding to that, let us leave a question from this part. You have given a picture here. This picture, it explains some of the details which you have studied in above. So from this picture, let us ask ourselves, with evidence, name the climate of the area. So we have this area. From this picture, it means you can be able to deduce, to extract the climate of the area. So this area, you should tell us which climate of this climate is. Another, mention any two characteristics of the climate named above. Once you can say it is equatorial, name the only two characteristics. From the equatorial climate you named above. Identify the common name of the animal found. Which animal? It means these are the animals. Tell us the common name. They are obtained into different national parks. So name it according to the common name, which is found in Tanzania and other places. Justify the role of the figure shown in middle ground of the picture to the environment. Which middle ground? It means this one is the foreground of our picture. This one is the middle ground of our picture. While in the background you have some of the mountain. So this part, which type of object you are observing. So once you can observe this, tell us what's its importance to the environment. Another, demonstrate the economic activity that might be taking place in the area. This is area. Tell us the economic activity that might be taking place. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next period. Thank you.